I'm Jason Takhtadjian with Armenian Sports News, and today we're joined by a very special guest, my good friend Andre Spight. Andre, how are you doing today?
My boy, man, was good. Last time I saw you was in Vegas, 2018, long time ago.
Yeah, that's a long time ago, back when I was still at UNLV, and I remember you playing when you were in with Northern Colorado and playing against
Yeah, that was
UNLV.
when I
I
was just
remember.
coming out.
Yep, exactly. And that was the first time I got to meet you in person. And we're going to be talking
Yeah.
about some hoops today because we got some interesting competition coming up, especially in Armenia, the eighth annual Pan-Armenia Games. This isn't your first rodeo, first time being in the Pan-Armenia Games. Tell me kind of your background and some of the experiences that you've had with the Pan-Armenia Games, and what are you looking forward to this year?
I'm really looking forward to this year. I've had this will be my third one. My first one was in 2011. I was like 16. And I was playing up on I was playing on the junior team of our Glendale team, and obviously we didn't win. Um, I did pretty well in that tournament though. I played well. That's kind of like who when people started to like recognize who I was as a black Armenian coming out and just showing like Armenia who I was. Everyone kind of knew who I was here, but out there I wasn't nobody. So it was really good to come out there and like show myself. And 2019, that was the next one that I went to 8 years later, and we ended up winning that one. And that was a fun time. And hopefully we can get this one.
Was 2015 the first Pan-Armenia Games that you were at? Was that the first time you played basketball in Armenia, or was there something that happened
2011.
previous? It was
2011.
2011. Okay, so was that the first
Yep.
time you played basketball in Armenia?
Hmm.
It was, and you kind of were mentioning, just representing as a Black Armenian. The Pan-Armenia Games brings that opportunity for different Armenians from different, communities around the world to come together. And just what was that like, that first experience in the Pan-Armenian Games that, now we fast forward to 2023, and I'm sure you can't wait for the games to start, and it's just a different vibe, a different energy, especially this time around.
Yeah, there was like a ton of people, especially like at the opening. Like there was so many people. Like, damn, my bad. I got stretched this back, man. I gotta get ready for Pan-Armenia. This I don't know how I'm gonna do this plane ride, man.
Oh my
Got lower
gosh.
back killing me, but yeah, I just think it's a great experience. There's so many people there from Glendale here, from all over the world, like just all our friends and family. Honestly, like it's the games are cool, but like I was saying, it's just so much better the experience, like just being around everybody, your loved ones, friends, family, meeting new people. I mean, people find everything here, new business connections. I've seen people find new wives here. I've seen people find new jobs opportunities, business opportunities, new friends, find family members, connect with family members that they haven't seen. So it's just so much more that it is to it than just the games. Like, you know,
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to mention that to you. It feels like it is more than just the games, the Pan-Armenia Games. And I was going to ask, just is that the main difference that you see compared to other competitions, whether it's FIBA top competitions, Olympic competitions, even in college, a different vibe for having that many people coming together and it being more than just a sport?
yeah, it's a much different vibe because like regardless, you're going I mean, win or lose, like you're gonna go out, you're gonna have a good time in Armenia. Like, regardless if you guys win, if you go 0-8 or you go 8-0. I mean, you might have a little bit more fun going 8-0, but at the end of the day, you're still gonna go out and do the same thing you're gonna do. You're gonna go, you're gonna socialize, you're gonna sightsee, um, whatever you partake in, you're gonna drink, you're gonna smoke cigars, whatever you do. Like that's what you're gonna do anyway, win or lose. So I think that's the big difference between a FIBA competition and this, is that this is more of like a kumbaya moment, but also a competitive nature behind it too, like mixed in. So I think it's a good balance.
Absolutely. And, I was just going to ask, with this being in Armenia, I wanted to kind of ask, first of all, what team are you representing and what is your goals from this year's Pan-Armenian Games?
I'm representing Glendale one, and my goal is to just make more of an impact than I did last time when I was there. That's what I try to do every time, just make more of an impact. maybe bring some shoes for the kids, brings just being there is also a good presence, playing with the kids, playing basketball with them, talking to them, answering questions, visiting schools. Like that's more as I get older, as I've gotten older, that's really more important, and just giving back and like showing yourself and just giving off that good vibe and trying to become a role model for these kids, like something for them to look to and say, I can do that too, or I want to do that too.
And that kind of leads into my next question, talking about that next generation that you're going to be part of. You, 28 years old now, being in these Pan-Armenian Games, you're going to be surrounded by teens and young 20-year-olds that are also going to be competing. How impressed are you with the upcoming generation, whether it's basketball, men's or women's, and other sports too? Just how impressed are you with this new crop of talent that's coming up, and you seeing it from your perspective now, remembering what it was like when you were a teenager to now? How do you compare that?
Oh, I feel like everybody has their different opinions of it. Like if you ask me, I say like I like how the kids are working nowadays. They're in the gym. Um, I feel like they could be playing a little more. As far as getting in the gym is nice and all, getting in there, getting up your shots or whatever. But you got to play. You got to play 5-on-5. I would say I would like for the youth to be playing more 5-on-5. But I like what they're doing now. Like I think the kids are nice. Like they got moves. They got all the moves in the book. More stuff than we had growing up. And but if you ask someone else, they'll say, "Oh, the kids suck nowadays," or "the youth is not." So everyone has their different opinions. It all depends on what area you're in. And but I like what I see from out here in Glendale. Like I honestly think we'll be straight for a long time. And this new kid, Anto Balian's coming up out here. He's a new household name out here. So I
Yeah,
mean,
he's
not
he's
new. I mean, it
16,
was a few
isn't
years
he?
ago, but yeah, yeah,
16 years old, and he's already becoming
yeah.
a household name, not just in the Armenian community, I think in the Southern California basketball community.
Exactly. Yeah. Forget Armenian community. Like obviously we know who he is as an Armenian community, of course. Um, but like he's on Paul George Elite. You know what I mean? He's playing here. He's playing against guys who have 5-star recruits, EYBL. So like no, he's doing his thing, and I'm proud of him, and I'm happy he's with us on the national team, and like I'm excited for him.
And it goes back to your point that you were making that, opportunity in games is important. And that's why, in the same breath, you could say that these Pan-Armenian games are important because it's giving more opportunities for, these kids to be playing in competitions, whether or not we're judging the level of competition or the importance of the competition. It's still an opportunity for these kids to get out and ball.
For sure. I mean, our head coach, Coach Rex Kalamian, is an NBA coach for the last 25 years. Armenian national team coach. He's going to be there in Pan-Armenia scouting, looking for other players to see which piece fits with the national team. Just scouting out there, So anybody can get noticed. So this is a great opportunity for anybody trying to be on the national team or 18U or 16U, 20U.
Yeah. Yeah, the Pan-Armenian Games are attracting just about everybody, especially Rex Kalamian, assistant head coach with the Detroit Pistons and head coach with the Armenian national basketball team. And talking about the Armenian national basketball team, there are three games coming up in November. It hasn't been announced exactly, what those who those opponents are going to be yet, just to the public. But tell me about the vibe right now with the Armenian national basketball team after a successful two games in LA against France. Despite those results, you still had those games and those opportunities to play against those teams, those structures, those individuals. And now you got games coming up in Yerevan in November. What is that like, first just playing for the Armenian national basketball team in Yerevan? And what is it like also looking forward to those games, considering everything that's happened so far?
It's huge, man. I mean, considering where we started out when I was 21 years old, when we first assembled like a men's national team, we weren't even ranked. Like it wasn't even there wasn't even you couldn't even rank us. We didn't compete in anything yet, so we're at the lowest of the low you can get. And to be here, sitting here today at ranked 87th in the world, I mean that's huge for us. So climbing those ladders and just climbing the ranks, that's amazing. And I like where we're at, and that we still have a huge uphill battle to go, and that's why people are putting pressure on the youth now, because Armenian basketball needs to flourish for years to come, for the next 100 years.
Right.
So it's a lot of responsibility for all of us here to, develop the youth and like get them right because they are going to be the future national team. It's not us.
Absolutely. You're setting the tone, and you're making the road basically for the next generation. And you're still part of it. You are still part of it right now. And I'm sure that
Definitely.
when
I
you're
mean, hopefully I could be Uncle Dre out there and I have some gray hairs and I'll still be able to get buckets at 40. But I
right.
mean, at the end of the day, it's a young man's game. I know that. So I'll know when to get out the way. But until somebody stops me, then I'll get out the way.
Right.
I'll
Present
still
time
get
right
the
now,
bucket.
Dre is here to stay, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Now, there's one more question, couple more questions just to round this off. Kind of going back to the Pan-Armenia Games, kind of going back to kind of who you're playing with and the exposure to the young generation. Not to deviate too much from sports, but you and I both know what's going on currently with Artsakh, with the Armenian people there, just that area in the world right now. And of course, it supersedes sports, but sports does
Yeah.
continue just like life continues. How do you approach, talking to the young players who may have that in the forefront in their mind whenever they're preparing for Pan-Armenian basketball or for any competition, especially whenever you have major world events happening that affect Armenians? Just what do you do, or is there any sort of advice that you have for those players or for those individuals to, be able to, work with that moving forward whenever they do play in the Pan-Armenia Games?
Yeah, it's a fine line. You want to go out there and you obviously want to have a good time and party and play the games, but like it's something bigger that's going on over there. That's, I mean, huge. It's humanity that we're dealing with over there. So I mean, that's always like a tough battle, especially with the politicians that are there or people that are coming from here to go over there to speak about just specifically about Artsakh, and then to see us on the other side partying and playing games. So it's a fine line, and sometimes it could get like messy and people argue about it, but we're all on the same team. We're all Armenians together, and we all do care about what's going on out there. So, I mean, what we can do most is donate our time, our effort, our energy into like figuring out what we can all do together, and just to try to, the more we have together, the more powerful we can be. I mean, we have all the Armenians here. We had all the Armenians there. I mean, there's not much any Armenians anywhere else. I mean, New York, somewhere wherever you are. I don't know how many wherever you are. You're always everywhere. So there's probably no Armenians where you are.
Right.
So I feel like we just need to stick together, and it's tough as the average citizen. You don't really know what you can do.
Alrighty. Thank you for your time as always, Andre. Have a great one.
Yeah. Thank you, my brother.